It began with what seemed like a typical evening. George and Amal were at their Lake Como residence, where they often retreat for peace and reflection. But in the middle of what should have been a relaxing dinner with close friends, George reportedly clutched his abdomen in intense pain and collapsed in front of Amal. Sources close to the family say Amal was heard screaming as she rushed to his side, unable to wake him. Paramedics were called in immediately, and George was rushed to a private clinic under heavy security. At first, details were scarce. The family kept everything under tight wraps as speculation exploded online. But as the hours turned into days, the truth behind George Clooney's condition slowly started to unfold, and it was more serious than anyone imagined. After a battery of tests and consultations with top specialists, George Clooney received a diagnosis that left the entire Clooney family shattered. According to confirmed insiders, George is battling a rare and aggressive form of pancreatic disease, with doctors labeling the condition critical and unstable. What makes the situation even more tragic is that George had reportedly ignored early symptoms, attributing his discomfort and fatigue to age and his grueling work schedule. The Clooneys were devastated. And while George reportedly asked for privacy, Amal knew she could no longer stay silent. The woman who's spent her life defending human rights and fighting injustice found herself at the mercy of something she couldn't argue her way out of, fate. Just days after George was moved to a more intensive care facility, Amal released a public statement that sent shockwaves across the world. Her words were raw, her voice trembling. It was not the polished Amal Clooney the world was used to seeing. This was a woman on the edge, facing the possible loss of the love of her life. She said, "George is the light of our home, the soul of our family, and my best friend. Watching him fight through this has been the most painful experience of my life. There are moments when I look at him and I can barely hold myself together. I never imagined we would be facing something so terrifying." As her voice cracked and tears welled in her eyes, Amal expressed profound gratitude for the support they've received, but also begged for privacy and prayers. She admitted she's barely been sleeping, barely been eating. Every hour feels like a century, and every doctor's update leaves her heart suspended between hope and dread. Almost instantly, Amal's emotional statement sparked a tidal wave of support. Fans around the world flooded social media with messages of love, prayer, and solidarity. #Pray for George began trending globally within hours. Celebrities, politicians, and even former colleagues reached out with heartfelt tributes and private messages of encouragement. Julia Roberts, George's longtime friend, reportedly broke down in tears upon hearing the news. Brad Pitt and Matt Damon are said to have called Amal directly, offering to fly in and support her however she needed. Even U.S. President and European leaders whom George and Amal have worked with on humanitarian causes offered messages of strength and healing. For many, this wasn't just about a celebrity. It was about losing a man who used his fame to better the world, a man who never backed away from difficult causes and always stood for justice. While Amal and the family continue to request privacy regarding exact medical details, it is now widely understood that George remains in a critical care unit, monitored 24/7. Doctors are reportedly trying an aggressive but experimental treatment plan aimed at stabilizing the disease and slowing down its progression. It's a race against time. Sources close to the couple say. Amal hasn't left George's side except to briefly care for their young twins. She sleeps in a chair beside his bed, holds his hand as he drifts in and out of consciousness, and whispers words of encouragement during the darkest moments. Hospital staff have praised her grace and strength, calling her a pillar of hope in the face of despair. What makes this situation all the more heartbreaking is the profound love between George and Amal. Their bond has always been extraordinary, not born of glitz and glamour, but of mutual respect, deep intellectual connection, and unwavering admiration. They met when both were already successful in their own rights, yet their lives became infinitely richer through their union. George has often said Amal gave his life purpose beyond fame. Amal has described George as her anchor in chaos. And now, that love is being tested in ways neither of them ever anticipated. As we all hold our breath and hope for better news, Amal Clooney's tearful message stands as a reminder of what truly matters in life. It's not the spotlight, the awards, or the luxury, it's love, it's time, it's family. George Clooney may be fighting the greatest battle of his life, but he is not fighting alone. He has Amal, strong, brilliant, and heartbroken, standing beside him every step of the way. We'll continue following this story as it unfolds. Until then, send your thoughts, prayers, and positive energy toward George, Amal, and their family. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for updates you can trust, stories that go beyond the headlines and speak to the heart. And if this story touched you, share it. Let the world know that even in the hardest times, love still leads the way.